Hey, this is Mr. Ward, and this is a video key for PreAlgebra Exit Ticket 28.3, and let's get started. Which translations produce congruent shapes? These are the rigid transformations. They don't change. They don't change the shapes, side and angle relationships in any way. So they are the translation. That's the slide. They are the reflections. That's the flips. Okay, and then they are the rotations. These all preserve or conserve the angles and side lengths of any particular shape that you're working on. So a rotation or a spin would be the case of those. Those are the, we'll call them the these are the rigid body transformations. Okay, now how about the ones that produce similar shapes? Well, those would be the non-rigid transformations. Okay, or transformation, I should say. And this is the dilation. Okay, and that's a shrink or enlargement. Okay. All right, so what would A double prime, B double prime, C double prime be if A, B, C were first dilated by a factor of 1/4 from a center of dilation at 0, 4, and then reflected across the y-axis? And would it actually matter which order those transformations occurred in? All right, so we have a center of dilation right here. So let's take one point at a time. So A, which is currently at 0, 4, is going to go to A prime. That's going to be the enlarged, or the shrinking, the dilation. And since 0, 4 is the center of dilation, A prime is just going to be 0, 4. It is 0 in the vertical from the center of dilation and 0 from the center of dilation horizontally. So it's just going to stay right there. And then when we reflect it across the y-axis, it's already on the y-axis. The only thing that would change sign would be x, but x is 0, and 0 has no sign. So A double prime is going to be simply 0, 4. So A stays the same. All right, let's take a look at B. B is currently at 4, -4. When we dilate it, in relation to 0, 4, B is vertically 8 down and 4 over. So horizontally, it's going to go down to 1 over, which would be at 1. Vertically, it's going to go up to 2 down. So we will now be at a B prime of, so the B prime will be at 1, 2. Okay, and then when we reflect that over the y-axis, we have a B double prime, which will now be on the opposite side of 1, 2. It's going to be at -1, 2. So x changes sign when you flip across the y-axis. Okay, and now C is going from -4, -4, and it's going to, it's also 8 below, and it's 4 to the left. So it's going to now be 1 to the left, 1/4 of that distance to the left, and 2 down instead of 8 down. So it's now it's going to be right on the other side of where B prime is. It's going to be at -1, 2. So C prime will be at -1, 2. And then the last bit, we're going to have C double prime, and C double prime is just going to switch sides with B double, it's going to switch places. B double prime ends up there, C double prime ends up there. So we're going to end up at 1, 2. Okay, turns out it does not matter which order in this case. Does not matter the order because they would end up in the same place. If I were to flip B and C, get the reflection first, B prime would be here, C prime would be here. When I took C prime and dilated it by 1/4 in relationship to 0, 4, it would shrinky-dink this way and shrinky-dink this way, and ended up exactly where I ended up with C double prime in the first method. Okay, let's take a look. And that is it for this exit ticket. I hope that was helpful.